What if you don't have any concentration? I know it helps build it, but what if you don't even have enough to keep your focus there for 5 seconds?
Well, everybody has,
Go
every,
ahead.
everyone has to start somewhere. If you think of the analogy to a workout, if you've never worked out, the very first time you work out, you get winded in like 2 minutes, right? And it's like, oh my God, at this rate, I'll never get anywhere. What you don't realize is that the growth is not linear. It's somewhat hockey stick, okay? So that you grow faster as you grow more. So it's true initially that you might very well have the experience that you're describing, which is just like, I'll never get this because it's like I'm here 1% of the time and 99% of the time I'm
Exactly.
like lost in ruminations and worrying about body sensations and the
Rehearsing,
sounds. Yeah,
planning.
memory plan fantasy.
Fantasy.
Yeah, that's memory plan fantasy reaction judgment.
Reaction.
Yeah. When I decided I was going to okay, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to run. So I was 21 years old, but I'd never really worked out or done anything. I ran down the block, and at the end of the block, I'm like, "Arr!" And it's like, oh my God, I mean, I'll never be able to run more than a block. But within 2 months, I was running miles, right? It was a dramatic change. So initially, yes, you may have to put up with that. But everyone has to start somewhere. Another way to look at it is, if you never start, then you'll have to live your entire life in a scattered state, an unrecollected state, as the Christians would say. I've quoted T.S. Eliot before. He's got this great phrase where he says, this is a place of disaffection, meaning ordinary experience, right? This is a place of disaffection. Then he goes on and eventually says, distracted from distraction by distraction. People are so distracted they don't even realize they're distracted. So distracted from distraction by distraction. That's how you're going to have to live your whole life, and it's going to be time to die really quick. And then you will not have lived, and you'll freak out. So you got to start somewhere. So the bad news is, yes, you might have to put up with what you're describing for a while, like getting a stitch when you first try to work out. But things get better with practice. If you don't do something like that, you'll basically just live your life just in that distracted state, meaning you won't really live your life. If you're...
Meaning you're not focusing on what's relevant, back to your concentration model?
Exactly. When you can either say that, oh my God, this is awful. I'm able to focus 10% of the time, and 90% of the time I'm away. So you can make that a problem, or you can make that an insight. You can realize, oh, this is how
Look at how distracted I am.
This is how most people live. This is how I would have lived otherwise.
So you're never really being present. You're spending the present thinking about the past and the future.
Essentially, that's the human condition, at least
Right.
at this point in history. And what that means is that people don't fully live each moment, and therefore they don't really live. If you discover when you first attempt to meditate that it's 90, it's 9 to 1, 1 unit of focus versus 9 unit of distraction, that means that you're missing 90% of your life. That's the bad news. And when it comes time to die, you won't have lived and you'll freak out. On the other hand, the good news is with practice, you can get it reversed.
Does it take 2 months like it did for you to run 2 miles?
No, it takes longer, typically.
If someone said...
6 months to a year of regular practice.
And is that what's regular?
I would say 10 minutes each day and at least 4 hours of intensive, continuous practice per month. That's why I have the home practice program, so people can call by phone wherever they are in the
Oh,
world.
I was going to ask you about that later.
Yeah,
but
maybe we should finish
Do
up
that
this.
later?
Yeah,
Okay.
we could
All
just
right.
finish up this one
Right.
thought. So the bad news is that if you may have what might be called a sobering realization when you first try to meditate, which is it's like I say, it's nine, 90% of the time I'm unable to focus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with enough practice, you can eventually reverse that. So you're 90% focused. Okay, so we've
Very
basically
effective.
multiplied your ability to be present by, by a factor of 9. Well, that means you get to live life 9 times as big as the average human being. And when it comes time to die, you will have participated enough in life that you won't freak out. You will have completed your life activity. So if I were to tell a person, hey, give me 10 minutes each day, subtract 10 minutes each day from your life, and every month subtract 4 hours, and keep that up for the duration, and you'll be able to live to be 300 years old. Well, that would be sound like amazing, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's not possible. You can't add 100 and 200 and however many years to a person's life. However, what you can do is multiply your ability to be present in each moment, and you can do that dramatically. As the result of that, you'll get to live life 2, 3, 4 times as big as you would otherwise, and the effect will be the same richness as though you lived to be 100, 200, or 300, and that's actually doable by anyone. So formal meditation practice subtracts a little bit of time from your life, but it multiplies the richness and depth of the rest of the time. So, as we say, do the math. It's a good deal.